Hey, my name's Lisa. I'm head of platform at Visionaries Club. As such, I work at the intersection of our investment team, portfolio support, and LP management. At Visionaries Club, we constantly strive to invest in founders whose solutions have the potential to disrupt entire industries. Get Harley is on track to revolutionize the skincare industry as we know it, by democratizing access to skin experts for everyone. I'm more than happy to welcome Jermaine Chow, founder and CEO of Get Harley, who's building an end-to-end telehealth platform, enabling a personalized discovery of skin health practitioners, procedures, and products online. She's part of our Visionaries family since we led the seed round last summer. I would also like to give a big welcome to Andrew Robb. Andrew is the former COO of Farfetch, the online fashion luxury platform, which he has scaled through its $6 billion IPO. Andrew is also a business angel in Get Harley and working closely with Jermaine. So Jermaine, Andrew, great to have you here. Thank you for taking the time and happy to hand over to you.
Thanks, Lisa. Really happy to be here. And hi, Charmaine. Great to see you as always.
Good to see you too.
So, Charmaine, as Lisa said, I've been a very happy angel in helping you along your journey. But maybe start off by telling us more about Get Harley.
Yeah, sure. I think Lisa has done a pretty good job already, but effectively Get Harley is an online telehealth platform that connects patients to practitioners for anything skin related and healthy aging related. For patients, we enable a very seamless and personalized discovery to practitioners, procedures, and products that they need for their skin. And for practitioners, we effectively empower them to digitize their business and monetize their clinics better and more effectively.
And where did the original idea come from? Tell us I always love the backstory to how entrepreneurs get to their big idea.
So I guess my founding story is a little bit atypical in that I decided I first wanted to found a business, and then I started ideating. And around the same time that I was looking for an idea, I was also trying to figure out my skin health needs. And I wanted to see a practitioner because I was pretty bugged by how my skin was. And I realized that whole experience of finding the right practitioner for you, procuring the right products for you that are medical grade was actually very fragmented and very broken. And so that was pretty serendipitous that I, thought maybe I should look into the idea and the space. And I realized that it was very archaic. There was room for innovation, and one thing led to the other. I sort of worked on the project on the side while I still kept my day job, and it snowballed from there.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's such a thing as a typical founder story. So, I don't believe there is. So I think it's, however you get there is always going to be a little bit unique. So COVID is obviously something that's had a profound impact on everyone's business. But, two questions really. First, how has it helped or hindered, you think, Get Harley as a business? And then how have you had to think about it in terms of building the team remotely?
Great question. I'll take the first one first. So before COVID, our go-to-market was very much brick and mortar. We were selling our proposition into clinics physically for them to use our software and services to patients who are coming into their clinics. And so when March happened and UK went into lockdown, the first question was like, okay, how are we going to continue growing our clinic accounts? And, it was kind of a pivotal moment, but we just decided, let's just enable our practitioners to see patients online and do this online consultation with Get Harley. And that sort of enabled our business to double in size from 1 month to the other. So I would say that was a blessing in disguise. More like bigger picture wise, I think the fact that COVID happened made practitioners realize that they need to digitize their business and find ways to generate passive income. Because historically, like I said, practitioners are only used to generating a livelihood when they're in clinic with their patients. And with COVID, we were really able to showcase how important it is to have a relationship, have a service, and be able to generate passive income that's beyond time in clinic and physical time. So I would say that it hindered our go-to-market from a in-clinic, physical clinic perspective, but it opened up a lot more opportunities and enabled us to really explain Get Harley and showcase our proposition in a scale that we never imagined.
It was interesting hearing before how you really set out, wanting to build a business and then kind of figured out through a sort of iterative process, the idea for Get Harley. But, go further back. Like, why are you an entrepreneur? What kind of early experiences do you have that you think have led you to this path?
Great question. I think I tie it back to my mother. We're very close. And since I was a child, she really indoctrinated in me this cycle of like, if you work hard and you push yourself, you get results that you never thought was possible. And then opportunities come to you. Very simple example. It's like, if you study hard and you get good grades, you get a scholarship and you can leave Malaysia and go to the UK and study. And then you have a lot more opportunities that you never thought was possible. And I think that iteration and that feedback loop is something that's really deeply indoctrinated in me. And at some point after learning certain core skills within finance and investing, I felt that urge to like push myself and do more and challenge myself. And I thought entrepreneurship was going to be that. And, that happened.
And is there a question you're asked more than any other?
Not really. I mean, I guess from a Get Harley perspective, when pitching investors, the one question I get a lot is like, do people really spend that much on skincare products? And the answer is, yes. Yeah, I think that's the one that people usually go like, seriously, people spend like thousands per year on skincare products on your platform.
Yeah, I think I remember being asked, people really spend $1,000 on a pair of jeans, and I think it's just, yeah, exactly. I do think there's a general, if a lot of investors focus more on very mass market products, and when you're dealing with more premium, the dynamics are different, and it doesn't always come naturally to
yeah, certainly. And Andrew, I guess flipping the questions now to you, what made you excited about Get Harley, and what made you decide to invest in us?
Yeah, I mean, the two things I always look for in investing, one is a problem I'm excited about trying to be part of solving, and secondly, do I like the founder? And so I've got to be nice about you, obviously, because you're on this call. But, I think you're an incredibly impressive person. Your energy level and tenacity is definitely the very top end of people I've met. So, fully to your credit. And then the idea, look, I think, that Get Harley provides a real solution to people with skin issues. And I actually got my wife to try the product as part of looking at it, and she fell in love with it straight away. And it's had a meaningful effect on some things she had, and it ultimately drives to her own mental well-being. And I think giving access to something that people just typically don't have easy access to, I think is a profoundly better way of doing this, and definitely makes is very additive to the overall consumer experience. So yeah, for me, it was a no-brainer when I first saw it.
Thank you. And just to dive into that, right, I always say that Get Harley is obviously for people who are unhappy with their skin. Like myself, I get breakouts every now and then and I want to fix it. But we're equally for people who don't think that they have necessarily issues with their skin, but just want to make sure that they're using the right stuff, investing where they are, and just want expert guidance to tell them that actually the cream that they've been using for the last 10 years actually works or doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think for me, it was really around, I think Get Harley is trying to ultimately address, skin issues as opposed to purely cosmetic or, it has, I think it has a much more, it's much more about, we talk about it as being like it's medical grade cosmetics, and it really has the impact as opposed to being kind of ultimately a product driven by marketing, as opposed to really having the effect on the individual.
Another question. So Get Harley is kind of around where Farfetch was some 10 years ago. What do you think are the hardest part of scaling businesses at this stage?
Yeah, I think, certainly my experience back then is probably similar to what I've seen some other businesses go through as well, which is, I think, Get Harley's proven, that it has created a fantastic product and service. And now it's about building the business around that. So, I remember we've had conversations around what should the org design look like? What kind of people do we need to bring in? How do we kind of subdivide the way that the team works? And so ultimately it's all about people, but the people questions are different at different stages. And I think, the next transition for Get Harley is definitely providing a bit more kind of scalable structure and almost like surrounding infrastructure so that amazing product and service can continue to grow at a very fast rate.
We're working on it very hard.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for founders at growth stage?
Yeah, look, I think it's really linked to that.
It's a broad question, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's very linked to that point. I mean, if you look, almost, not all, I would say 80, given that in the early stage, really until, maybe 10x where a typical Series A business is at, strategy questions are 20% of it and execution is 80% of it. Now that does change later on. And given the execution itself, almost everything comes back to people. So, the root driver of the solution to every problem you face is probably in people. And given that you're small, is probably in hiring. So if you had to do one thing, and one thing really well, is to overinvest in everything to do with hiring. And, what one validation point on this would be is something I've noticed is repeat founders. So they've done this before. And the only thing I've heard that they all do is they hire talent and HR people earlier. So that would be my one tip. I know you're laughing about it because I was banging on about it to you the other day.
Thank you. Heard you loud and clear.